Man, sucks that this is reversed on camera.
Why?
Oh, because this will end up showing up reversed up there
No, it
on
won't.
video. Well, not is it not reversed for you
No,
when I hold it?
yeah, no, I read Fruits Basket normally.
Oh, huh. How cameras work.
Yeah, my stuff is reversing behind me.
Oh wow, my internet connection is unstable. I know. Come on, come on. There we go.
All right. Well, you're not gritty now. I was gonna say the stuff written behind me is reversing. Maybe it's just the direction that the Fruits Basket is labeled in.
I know. I think it's because we see ourselves reversed. Like on your end, you see your side reversed because when you move your head, it's gonna move your head in the direction that's gonna look most natural to you. So it's more like a mirror. Whereas on video, on my end, it's flipped for me because that's the direction you're realistically moving your head in, if that makes sense.
I'm gonna be so entirely real with you. That's too big brain for me to physically comprehend right now. Like genuinely, that's making my head hurt a little bit. So I'm just
Zoom
gonna
wants
ignore
to
it.
make itself like a mirror, so it's holding a mirror up to you. It does not mirror for everyone else.
Regardless, you held up the book earlier. If you could hold it up again. Um,
You're the side recording, so this works out.
yeah, Fruits Basket, Volume 5 of the Collector's Edition, featuring Hatsuharu on the cover. Um, Volume 5 covers volumes 9 and 10 of the original Tokyo Pop release. So chapters 49 to 59, I believe.
Jesus, those are big volumes.
Yeah, I did the Fruits Basket volumes are just are like strangely large for like manga volumes, right? Like they are very large. Like I have I think 3 or 4 of the Tokyo Pop release, but unfortunately I don't have all of them. They're discontinued and I've only got like 1, 3, 5, 7, and 15 or something like that. Uh they're big. They're bigger than you think. And bi-weekly release, the chapters are longer. We discussed this before, but they're like 30-ish pages per chapter. So they're long chapters. Um, but yeah, so it covers 49 to 59. Yeah, 49 to 59. And it's essentially it's pretty much all happening during spring break. Like both of these volumes are set during like spring break. Um, and we've got kind of I think an interesting mix of things happen, at least in my opinion, because like I'm thinking back to so the anime never got this far.
The original one.
Yeah, the original anime never got this far. And I have not finished the new anime yet. I've only seen the new anime up to where it deviates from the old one. That's where I stopped watching. So this is beyond where I've seen anime already. Um, and I think it's interesting. I was not expecting there to be so many poignant flashbacks across these 2 volumes because there's a lot of like very I think what's supposed to come across as like very sad flashbacks or like things that are supposed to make you like really mad at like Akito because we see flashbacks with Akito twice. And he's just kind of a dick anytime you see him, right? Akito's always an asshole. And like theoretically, you've got to think he's got some reason for this, but we've never been shown a reason why he's an absolute fucking cunt of a human being. Um, just that he enjoys torturing people, like literally enjoys torturing. We also got a Hana flashback with her psychic powers and thinking she killed someone. Um, and a couple of others. I wasn't expecting there to be so many flashbacks. And to be honest, I don't enjoy the flashbacks as much. Um, like it was just kind of I was like I know I know some of these characters already. I don't think I needed this flashback per se. I don't know if I needed one about Hannah's psychic powers, you know? Like I like Hannah as a character. I like her more than I like our main character, um, Toru. But I don't know if I needed a flashback about her tragic past. I don't know if that's just me. I.
I I'm gonna be honest here. This volume more than any other one, I feel like I was completely lost.
I it was a little bit out because like there's no normally the framework that we're used to is in the context of school, right? So like Toru, Kyo, um Yuki, and now Momiji and Hatsuharu are all going to school, right? So we get a lot of school related stuff, and then there's the stuff at home. But these two volumes, outside of the arc with the new student council members at the very beginning, it's all like summer break. And I feel like the order of it was just like flashback, summer party, flashback, summer party, flashback, beach party, flashback, beach party, but it's the same beach party still happening, or is it different ones? Or like what? I don't know. I didn't super understand how much time these two volumes were covering. Like how much are like what are we seeing here? Like there's a bunch of beach like interludes, but then it's all interspersed with these really sad or like anger and supposed to be anger inducing flashbacks. And then that one little thing where like Yuki meets the new like student council members. And I feel like, well, I mean, first of all, for the entire two volume section, Toru is irrelevant. Like
Oh yeah.
entirely irrelevant. She doesn't even show up in over half the pages. Probably three-quarters of the panels she doesn't appear in. The only thing that happens is on literally on the very last page of the very last chapter, Yuki confesses that he loves her. That's it. That's the only relevance that she has to like this entire two volumes, basically. Other than her presence in Hannah's flashback, but once again, that's Hannah's flashback. Hannah and Uo are completely outside of Hannah having a flashback, completely non-existent as characters. Um, we barely see Yuki and Kyo. I feel like we spent most of our time in this two volumes with Akito and Shigure. Like per capita, we spent a lot of time, whether it was in flashbacks or in real time, with Akito and Shigure, but we didn't get much out of it.
I think that might have been my biggest issue with this volume because especially the way we've been reading it and just my general interest not being that much there in the first place in this series. A lot of how I'm remembering these characters are like when we come back to them in each new volume by their relationship with Toru, even if I think Toru is a boring ass character.
We've discussed this. She is a boring ass character. We
Yeah.
literally had this discussion in volume 4. Toru is what you would expect from a Japanese girl in 2004
Yeah,
in a
we
manga.
don't we don't need
She's,
to harp on that. Just a
yeah,
quick footnote, just the same as Toru was in this
yeah,
volume.
yeah.
But because I define everything and remember everything by their connection to Toru, when these characters came back in this volume, I'm just like, who are you people?
Because almost even Akito only interacts with Toru in like the last chapter, literally the last single chapter where he like just shows up at their house and says hello. That's the only interaction they have. They literally had more interaction in the previous volume, and Akito's more of a character here. And here's the thing: I like Akito's storyline, right? Like I like what's going on behind the Zodiac. And Toru is there largely as a plot device to move the plot along, right? Which is the point of characters. They're all plot devices. But Toru is largely there to just kind of move things on by stumbling into stuff. And I feel like the plot didn't feel like it moved because nothing got stumbled into in these two volumes. Like nothing happened outside of like some things that were meant to be sad or anger inducing. But it's hard to feel really sad at a bunch of flashbacks because it's not happening right now in the story. It happened a long time ago.
A little bit, yeah.
I don't know.
I've
I wasn't super a fan of this volume. And here's the thing. Um officially we're dropping this as of this episode. We're not going to be at least I'm not gonna have knick-knack continuing on with the series. Like if I want to continue this on my own, I can find someone else who like wants to read it or has already read it.
And I don't want to
Um,
discourage you from putting the anime in for the
oh,
regular
anime's already in.
podcast. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, like I'm not gonna be like,
yeah.
oh no, we're watching one of the most acclaimed anime of the last decade. No. I know it's
Um,
coming.
yeah. But I'm gonna be honest here. I so obviously the last time I read this was like in 2012 or something, right? Like keep in mind the last time I read this was like 12 years ago. Um it hasn't weathered the best. Um I haven't super been enjoying rereading this. Like I haven't actually been enjoying reading it. I still like some of the characters and I feel like I like what happens in the end, but I think in my head I kind of forgot or like I put all the boring stuff that I didn't like out of my mind and I don't really think about it. And now that we're reading it and I'm having to read kind of all that boring middle stuff that I don't care that much about, and it's not, hindsight is never, you can't predict how you're going to be in 12 years or something. But I think me 12 years ago was a lot more willing to read stuff like this because she was just reading anything and everything that she could get her hands on. And 25-year-old me would not have continued this if I had started reading this fresh, like now. Like if I had started from chapter 1 now and I hadn't ever read it before, I wouldn't have made it this far. I'm a lot more picky these days about what I read, and I probably wouldn't have continued past volume 2 or 3, let alone 9 and 10. Because I'm just not enjoying reading this anymore. But the problem is I still love some of the characters. So it's like I like seeing the characters that I like, but I'm not enjoying reading it very much.
I think for me, it's like because I'm just perfectly I've been perfectly ambivalent to a lot of this. So every time we do one of these, it feels like I'm spinning the same wheel. I'm saying the same things and stumbling into the same talking points. And I'm not hating it. There's even parts that are like, oh, this is a little bit charming. But is it actually that interesting for us to come back for how many more are these do we would we have of these collectors volumes?
There's 12 total, so we'd have 7 more.
Yeah, would it be that much more interesting for me to come back 7 times and maybe two or three out of those 7 times have something more interesting to say about this?
Well, and to be quite honest, I think there's only one thing that you'd actually find interesting in sort of the resolution of the story. Because I'm sure by this point you know who ends up with who and all that stuff. It's fairly fucking obvious. But I feel like the only thing that you might be interested in the end is just what happens with Akito and the Zodiac.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I need to put you through another 7 volumes of this. Like if I really want you to know, I can just tell you, or like wait until after you've watched the anime, like when it comes out of the hat, and then tell you. Like if you really wanted to know, and like I wouldn't feel necessarily bad about that, because I don't really want to read another 7 volumes of this.
I do want to specify here too, just because I don't want to shit on this series because I
No,
know
the series is critically
it's
acclaimed. It's really good. Like it's super popular. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying I read it once and reading it again is gonna kill me.
like the artwork here still beautiful,
Oh yeah.
still incredible artwork on display here. And I can see where the appeal of this story comes from. If I was in the right demographic, this feels like a pretty damn decent
Mhm.
wish fulfillment or living vicariously through the character kind of
Yeah,
story.
but you're not in the right demographic.
Oh,
Yeah, this is not the series that appeals to you. Like I'm not in the right demographic anymore. And don't get me wrong, even though I'm not enjoying reading it right now, it doesn't mean that I don't still love the series. Like I still love Fruits Basket. Like us dropping it is not going to change that for me. The fact that I haven't actually enjoyed rereading it isn't going to change it for me, right? Because I still loved the series when I originally read it. I still love the series that I watched and the series that I read. It's just not a series that I'm going to be rereading.
But there are
um
things that you love that you either grow out of or it's just not an easy reread.
yeah, yeah, I think it's that I've grown past who I was when I loved this, and that's not going to stop me from loving it. But it's not one of those series that, because I have certain series that become like comfort series to me, right? Like I still like certain books where it doesn't matter like how many years it's been since I first read them. I'll read them again when I want something that I really enjoy, or I want like a little bit of comfort or something. You know, like a comfort series.
Mhm.
This is not that. I find comfort at the idea of this series and what I remember of this series. Um, and to be fair, this is not like the second time I've read this either. This is like the fifth time I've read this series. And maybe five times is too many. Maybe we've hit the critical like read amount points. Maybe we don't read this more than four times. Maybe four was the answer. Not it's not to say it's bad. Like we're dropping this, but it's not bad. It's just, and I don't want to say it's not good. It's not bad. It's not good. It's great, but it's not great for us.
I mean, that's just kind of been the thing. It's just not for me.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. That's really what it comes down to. Is it's just not for me right now, for you right now. Um, and I think to be honest, you'll enjoy the anime. You'll have an easier time with the anime. You'll enjoy it. I am gonna make you watch the first episode of the old one just so you could see the art style I grew up with, and then you'll watch the new one. And the new one, the art, the animation are really good. I do think that I will say, um, I think the new one loses a bit of its unique art in the reboot, but for watchability, the quality is much better, and it has a canon ending. It actually got to be finished. So, and it is a one-to-one copy. It's not rewriting it beyond like the actual like canon divergence. So, I'd rather put in the new one. I do think a little bit of the charm of the old art is lost in the new one because they streamline it a little bit more, and it doesn't have as much kind of the author's unique style, but it's not the end of the world. You'll get to see like the first episode of the original. Um, so you'll see what I remember when I was like, 11, 12, and finding this on YouTube for free in 12 parts or something, or pirated on some sort of site. um, but I'm not super upset to be dropping it. It's definitely not something that I'm like, hey, you want to read another one of these when I'm thinking of like the next set of books that we're reading for off the shelf. It's more of a, well, we've gotten 4 volumes in, we might as well do five, and then we might as well do six, and then we'll be halfway through, so we might as well just finish it. And for me, like once I get a certain amount of something in, a lot of the times I'll finish it, even if I'm not the most passionate about it out of kind of obligation. So like if you hadn't said anything, I would have just kept suggesting it whether or not I was actually enjoying the fifth reread or not. Because I've done that with manga before. It's like if I drop it in the first 4 chapters, whatever. But if I get to like chapter 20 or 30, I'm in it for the long haul, whether it's good or bad. And sometimes it is incredibly bad. And I still finish it. And that's just the way that I am with books. So yeah. Uh, but yeah, this is just I don't think a lot happens in these 2 volumes. I'm gonna be honest. I don't have much to say about them because I feel like there's not much being said.
Now maybe we stop right before the gold, guys. If anyone's been following these and they're really committed, beat our ass in the comments. Maybe we'll change our mind.
Yeah, you only have to persuade Dick Knack. I'll do anything.
Yeah. And
I'm
I'm nothing if not easily guilt tripped.
and I am nothing if not go with the flow. But with that being said, we'll be back with a different off the shelf next time. Um, and we'll see you then. Like, comment, subscribe.